يقول راجي عفو رب سامعي محمد بن الجزري الشافعي: الحمد لله وصلى الله على نبيه ومصطفاه محمد وآله وصحبه ومقرئ القرآن مع محبه. وبعد إن هذه مقدمة فيما على قارئه أن يعلمه، إذ واجب عليهم محتم قبل الشروع أولا أن يعلموا مخارج الحروف والصفات ليلفظوا بأفصح اللغات، محرر التجويد والمواقف وما الذي رسم في المصاحف.
بالعالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. Oh Allah, teach us what benefit us. Increase us in knowledge, in good morals, and in good deeds, Ya Rabbal Alameen. So this is Al-Jazariya 36. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, we're still explaining the most famous poem in Tajweed, منظومة المقدمة فيما يجب على قارئ القرآن أن يعلمه. The introduction in what the reciter of the Quran has to know. And we are still in the section of Sifat al-Huruf. In the section of Sifat al-Huruf. Last time we talked about al-Rakhawa and al-Bayniyya. Sifat al-Rakhawa and Sifat al-Bayniyya. We are still in line 20, right? Or 22. So in line 22 he said, Rahimahullah, وَبَيْنَ رِخْوٍ وَالشَّدِيدِ لِنْ عُمَرٍ. وَبَيْنَ رِخْوٍ وَالشَّدِيدِ لِنْ عُمَرٍ. Lin Umar means what? Means, O Umar, be lenient. Okay? Someone claimed that this is a hadith, but I did not find such a hadith. Anyway, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, we cannot say he was tough or harsh, because these are words that you cannot say about someone that the Prophet ﷺ said about, if there was a prophet to come after me, he would have been Umar. Then you hear a khatib or a sheikh or an imam giving a talk, and he says Umar was tough man, or he was harsh, or he was... And this person, maybe he doesn't know how to read the Fatiha correctly, and he's speaking about. So this is one of the disasters of this age, that you find people giving a khutbah or talks or lectures and courses, and they're not qualified. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, the word we use, he was strict. When it comes to the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the rules of Islam, he was strict. But he wasn't harsh. He had two lines on his cheeks out of the crying of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 2 lines, khattani aswadan. He was very, very kind. He had very soft heart. You can get to know something about him. I gave 51 episodes about him in this masjid, about the lives of Sahaba. 51 classes about Sayyidina Umar himself, and I feel I did not give him his right. And subhanAllah, by the way, Michael Hart, the American professor who has 2 or 3 PhDs, when he wrote the book The 100, which is the greatest 100 people from the time of Sayyidina Adam until his time, and he's still alive, or he passed away just this decade. He put who number 1? He put Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam number 1, even though this person is not a Muslim. But guess where did he put Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu? Sayyidina Muhammad and Sayyidina Umar sallallahu alayhi wa sallam radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Umar, are the only 2 Muslims, of course, in his book, among the 100. But guess when Sayyidina Umar came, what number he gave him? 51. And honestly, I did not plan to make 51 episodes about Sayyidina Umar. It came just like this. Anyway, we don't agree on all what's in the book because he put some people ahead of some prophets in the book, and we don't, of course, agree to that. So this shows you that Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Umar is Sayyidina Umar. Shaitan runs away from him, right? Right? He said when Shaitan sees you, Umar, coming from a route, he'll take another route. Then you come, he said, oh, he was harsh, he was tough, he was... Maybe some people, they use also mean, they use some other words. SubhanAllah, who are you talking about? You're talking about the best of people after the prophets, alayhim salatu wassalam. Anyway, Len Umar, just it means be lenient, O Umar. Okay, he just put these 5 letters to give a meaningful sentence so that you remember it. وَبَيْنَ رِخْوٍ وَالشَّدِيدِ لِنْ عُمَرٍ وَسَبْعُ عُلْوٍ خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ حَصَرٍ. So that was line 22. So now we're wrapping up the first part or the first half of line 22. What did we say? The summary of learning about Rakhawa and Shidda and Bayniya or Tawassut is, the summary is that the Rikhu letters, they flow. Their sound flow, right? Their sound flows. And the Shadid letters, their sound is cut off. And the Bayniya letter, their sound is partially closed, partially flowing. That's number 1. Number 2, we said, when the letters have harakat, all the letters must be equal in their timings, right? A, U, I, kutiba. You don't say kutiba, or kutiba, or kutiba. So this word kutiba, right? Kutiba. Kutiba. 3 letters, 3 harakat. Every haraka must be every letter must be exactly equal to the other letter since they have harakat. Kutiba, kutiba. If you prolong any of them, then that's wrong. So some students, as we mentioned, many people, what do? They prolong the haraka. Some of them they say kutiba. Some of them they say kutiba, kutiba, right? The teachers know this, right? You came across students who read this way. Or kutiba alaykum, right? So any extension of the haraka, that changes the meaning. That's one thing. So all the letters, when they have harakat, they all must be exactly equal. Prolonging the haraka generates a letter. This is very common among some Muslims who learned it wrong, and when they grew old, they continued doing it same way. أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ لَكَ صَدْرَ, right? فَصَلِّي لِرَبِّكَ, right? That's wrong, even grammatically wrong. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, we said when the letters have sukoon, how many categories do we have? How many categories when the letters have sukoon? Are they all equal? No. We have how many categories? The major categories, we have 3. The first category is the shadid letters. Let's put them aside. Let's exclude them because we cannot compare, as I mentioned last time, the timings of the shadid letters to the timings of the rikhu or the bayni letters. Who knows why? Because the shadid letters, let's take the hamza for example. When I say ya, ti, ya, see the timing of the hamza sound, ya. I cannot compare it, or even if I want to compare it to the noon, let's say, which is a bayni letter, maybe I can compare it. I can say the hamza is shorter. Ya, ti, and an'am, an, ya, an. The noon is a little bit longer, right? Okay, we can say this about the hamza. But what about the qaf, the ta, the ba, the jim, the dal, the kaf, the ta, the hams letters and the qalqala letters? How can you compare them to the other letters? Let's take the qaf. If you say yaqrab, yuqtal, for example, yuq, how can you compare this sound of the qaf, yuq, with an, You cannot, because here we're having the sound is interrupted. It's not like consistent so that you can compare it. So this is why I said what? I said exclude the shadid letters. The shadid letters, the hamza, we know it's time. You just completely cut the sound off, right? Ya'ti, sha. We're done with the hamza. The qalqala letters, you just give them qalqala, you just bounce them. Ato, ato, ad, aj, ad. And the hams letters, which are shadid letters, only two letters. We have shadid and mahmus at the same time, which are what? Kaf and ta, right? Those ones, you give them hams, same thing, you just release the breast. Yak, yet. So we're done with the shadid letters when they're sakin. What's left? Rikhu letters and bayni letters. We said also we exclude the nun sakina and tanween. Why? Because they have their own rules and their own timings. And we studied that. We have longest ghunnah, long ghunnah, shortest ghunnah, right? Short ghunnah. So when we have ambi'ni or ambi'uni, or min ba'di or innal ladhina. So when the nun sakina or tanween, the nun sakina and tanween, they have their own timings. So we also excluded them with the shadid letters. Is that clear? So whoever is making the slides of this class, you have to mention this clearly. The shadid letters, we're excluding them. They have their own timings, we know their timings. Now the nun sakina and tanween and mim sakina, also they have their own rulings and their own timings and their own ghunnah, lengths. Different lengths for the ghunnah. We exclude from the rules of nun sakina and tanween. What do we exclude? We exclude Barakallah. What do we exclude? We exclude, who knows? What do we exclude from nun sakina and tanween and mim sakina rules? There are two rules that we have and we can compare with the rikhu letters. We can compare them with the rikhu letters. Nun sakina and mim are what? They're what? They're bayni, right? Bayni letters. They're not rikhu, not shadid, between. So mim sakina and nun sakina, they have two rules. When we apply those two rules to them, we can compare them to the rikhu letters, and we have to compare them and be careful when we apply the rakhawa and the bayniya to them. Who knows what those two rules are? Those two rules, when they have the normal ghunnah, when they have their normal ghunnah, when is that? Yalla teachers, come on. Is it like very complicated? When do the nun sakina and mim sakina have their normal short ghunnah? What's the ruling? We say you do without extra ghunnah. Ya Rabbi, grant me patience with these kids. Izhar and izhar shafawi. Right? When we have izhar, do we give extra ghunnah to the noon? No. When we have izhar shafawi, do we give extra ghunnah? No. So when the nun sakina and tanween, they have izhar and izhar shafawi, in that case, we can compare them to the rikhu letters. And the proof is, I told you, an'amta. I'm applying many examples and many rules to the word an'amta. Even though it has what? An'amta. It has izhar and izhar shafawi. Right? The word an'amta, right, ya sister? It has izhar and izhar shafawi. Right? So you can compare the nun and the mim here to the rikhu letters and to themselves. So based on this, we have the rikhu letters and the bayniya letters. We excluded the nun sakina and tanween only when they have what? When they have longest ghunnah or long ghunnah. Got it so far? I mentioned this last time. I'm just repeating. When the nun sakina and tanween and mim sakina, when they have longest ghunnah or long ghunnah, they have their own timings. We cannot compare them to the rikhu letters because they have extra ghunnah. But when they have short ghunnah, which is the normal ghunnah, which is idhar and idhar shafawi, then we can compare them. What about shortest ghunnah? Who knows? This is just review, this is just chat of what we covered long time ago. When do we have shortest ghunnah? Noon and mim with harakat. And we already said, all letters when they have harakat, they're all equal. Noon, mim, qaf, sin, sad, whatever. So we excluded the noon and the mim with the harakat, with the shadid, with the mutaharrik letters, right? So what is left? What is left is short ghunnah, long ghunnah, longest ghunnah. Short ghunnah, we apply this criteria, this comparison between rikhu and bayni letters when the noon and mim have short ghunnah. Why? Because that means they don't have extra ghunnah, that they are in their original form. Now when they have long and longest ghunnah, we don't compare them to the rikhu letters. Why? Because they have their own timings. When do they have longest ghunnah? Three things. When do the noon and mim, when do they have longest ghunnah? Idgham with ghunnah, idgham shafawi and the ghunnah letters. It means when they have shadda. That's longest ghunnah. And when do they have long ghunnah? Ikhfa shafawi and qalb. Right? Mash. So what is left now? The rikhu letters, ضيف سيحثه شخص فض ذو زيغ. These rikhu letters. Okay, I found another scholar who put them in one line of poetry, but I found my sentence is easier. So I'm not going to tell you that line. So, شو هلا بدي من وين نجيب لك الزي؟ هلا عم نصور وعم نعطي درس، هلا جيبي خذي الزي يلا. So اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. So what did I say? What was I saying? So the rikhu letters, now we have the rikhu letters and the bayni letters, right? The rikhu letters and the bayni letters. The rikhu letters, I said ضيف سيحثه شخص فض ذو زيغ. These are the rikhu letters. The bayni letters are lin Umar. Now, how do we compare them? How do we apply? When we read, what do we focus on? We said we exclude the shadid letters, forget about them. We know their timings. And we exclude the longest ghunnah and the long ghunnah rules. So this is what is left. Rikhu letters, bayni letters. How do we compare them? Which should be longer? The bayniya are shorter. Right? Very easy. The bayniya letters, because the sound is not completely flowing, so they should be shorter than the rikhu letters. That's it. Let's apply this rule that now I just summarized what we mentioned at the end of the last class. Let's apply to because we didn't have time to apply it. Let's apply this to Surah Al-Nashrah. Look please at the screen, Ya Shaykh. Shaykh Ayman, may Allah reward him. Of course, I don't compare myself to him, but he compared the shadid letters to the bayni letters and to the rikhu letters, but in my humble opinion, they are incomparable. The shadid letters, you cannot compare them to the bayni and rikhu letters. They have their own timing, qalqala and hams, forget about them. You should know how to apply them. So who can tell me, he put the qalqala letters and, he put the shadid letters, which are the qalqala letters and the hams, the kaf and the ta. He put them in what color? Who can tell me? Green. Quick, green, right? So what we're going to do with the green now, we're going to just forget about it. So what are the two colors we have to focus on? The blue and the red. The blue represent what? Look and tell me. The blue represent bayniya, right? Lin Umar. And the red represents what, ya sister? Turn, ya sister, so that you can see that. Or sit next to Sarah. What does the red color represent? What letters? Now we're working only on the second letters, right? We agreed when the letters have harakat, they're all equal in their timings, right? Again, guys, someone might be watching the video, or you will not say that because we already told you that. If someone watching the video, he said, what is this? What is this complication, and what is you're making the Quran difficult? No. For the normal Muslim, that's not his business. Unless he really wants to read the Quran really, really like the Prophet ﷺ, like it was revealed, then yes. This particularly for the teachers and for the Ijaza candidates who wants to keep transmitting and receiving the Quran and passing the Quran to the generations exactly the same way we got it. This is how we got it. The time of the sheen when it has sukoon is a little bit longer than the time of the meme when it has sukoon. Right? So, here we're comparing what? The red letters, which are the rikhu letters, with the blue letters, which are what? The bayni letters. The rikhu, so the red should be a little bit longer than the blue. All the red should be similar. All the red should be equal, right? And we said, to train yourself to apply that, start with reading with tahqiq. Tahqiq is the slowest reading. أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. Right? Tahqiq. Tawassut or tadwir is in between, is the medium. أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. And hadr, أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. That's hadr, that fast. These are the 3 speeds of recitation. So you start with the tahqiq, with the slowest one, until you master this rule, then you will find yourself you're applying it in all of your recitation, regardless of the speed. So let's start. So notice now, just compare between the meme and the sheen and the ha only. Everything else is done in this ayah. As you can see, he only colored meme, sheen, ha, right? The time of the sheen is what? With the ha, comparable to the ha. Should be what? Time of the sheen with the ha. Equal. Right? They must be equal, both red, both rikhu. But the time of the meme should be a little bit shorter than them, right? So we say, أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. Try. You never practice like this, putting your hand on your chin, right? أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. What if I say أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ? Did you notice? What did I do? Listen. أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ. What did I do? I made the meme equal to the sheen, right? It shouldn't. This is أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ. What's the rule here, by the way? What's the rule? أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ. What's the rule? Oh my God. Ya Rab. أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ. What's the rule? إظهار شفوي. إظهار شفوي. Make sure you review these rules, guys. You have to, they should be just like ABC for you. Like these are rules of nun sakina and tanween and mim sakina. They should be just like ABC, right? Mim sakina followed by ba, ikhfa shafawi. Mim sakina followed by mim, idgham shafawi. Mim sakina followed by any other letter, idghar shafawi. Right? So, in idghar shafawi we pronounce the mim sakina clearly and distinctly from the idghar shafawi letters without extra ghunnah. Alamna, 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 right? Alam nashrah. But you don't say alam nashrah, alam nashrah, right? You don't shorten the sheen, no. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. You can see it's little difference, but this is how you should read it, right? طب يلا, next ayah. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. What should we compare to what? Look and tell me, it's in front of you. Ayn to the zai. So the ayn is rikhu, right? The ayn is rikhu, right?
No,
Bayn. And the zai is rikhu. So the ayn should be a little bit shorter than the zai, right? What about the noon? Isn't there noon sakina there? Anka. Isn't there a noon sakina there? Why he did not color it? Should not we compare it also? It's a baini letter. Why don't we compare it also? Why? Why? It has its own rule. Why? What's the ruling here? Huh? Anka. What's the rule in Anka? Say it. Long Ghunnah, because it's ikhfa, right? So we don't compare. This is why he did not color it, right? So وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. Try. So we don't say وَوَضَعْنَا. See, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. This way I made the ayn equal to the zai. That's not correct. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الذي أنقض ظهرك. Here we're having what? The first lam of the stressed lam. Al. That's lam. That's the lam we're talking about. Al. Then the ha. The lam is baini, the ha is rikhu, right? ضيف سيحثه هو. So that's a rikhu letter. ضيف سيحثه شخص فضل ذو زغ. So the lam should be a little bit shorter. So we don't say الذي أنقض ظهرك. No. It should be what? الذي أنقض ظهرك. See, the ha is a little bit longer. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. What should we compare here? Say it. Say it. What should we compare to what? Say it. Raise your voice. Nothing, right? What are you saying? What should we compare to what? Nothing to nothing. Why? We only have a baini letter here. Do we have any rikhu letter? We don't. Do we compare them to the shadid letters? We said we don't. Right? How can you compare rafa' fa' to dik? That's a sound that's interrupted. You cannot compare it with a consistent sound, right? You compare two consistent things, right or no? Okay. Now, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. يلا.
فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا.
Sin, they should be equal. Lam should be shorter. See, مَعَ الْعُسْرِ. You don't say فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. See, many of you read like this, by the way. You say فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. What are we doing? You're making them equal. You should prolong the sin a little bit longer. See? فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. No. You don't make the lam equal to the sin. The lam is baini, the sin is rikhu. You read it like this. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Try.
فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا.
Same thing. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا.
إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا.
فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانصَبْ. What do we compare to what? Nothing, right? وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. What do we compare to what? Nothing. But if we take the two ayat together, we should compare the ghain to what? The ra. Which is longer? The ghain. Look how. فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانصَبْ وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. See? فَرَغْتَ فَارْغَب. See the time of the ra and the ghain? See? فَرَغْتَ فَارْغَب. فرغت فارغب. The ghain is a little bit longer.
فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. Say.
وإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب.
Any question? Did you get it now? Any question? So try when you're reading, pay attention. Just pay attention to the rikhu letters. Just give them their time. The bayni letters, generally you're gonna do them normal. But what the common mistake here is that we make the rikhu letters just like the bayni. So just pay attention to the rikhu letters, prolong them a little bit longer. What are the rikhu letters? ضعيف سيحثه شخص فظ ذو زيغ. Okay? Okay. Now, so all what I mentioned, I think we already wrote it here. Read in the slowest speed and shadid letters, okay? And idhar and idhar shafawi, we apply the rule when it's idhar and idhar shafawi, we explained all that. Okay, let's just mention here a common mistake. The common mistake here is that we sometimes make the rikhu letters equal to the bayni letters. What should I say? While they should rather be longer. They should rather be longer, right? What should I say? How should I add that sentence? Rather, comma, they should be longer, right? Rather, rikhu letters should be a little bit or a bit longer. Does that make sense? Okay, let's add this here. Okay, here. So this is the first note, the one who's gonna do these slides. You're gonna put the picture, this picture, I'm gonna move it. Where is it? It's already there. So the picture, you start with the picture, under the picture, you write this note here, okay? And the previous notes, they should be done by the one who got class verified. Yeah, now, before we move to the second half of the line, some reciters, and always we have to mention this so that you avoid it and you don't listen to those ones and you don't promote it, that they change the timings of the letters to amuse and to entertain others. So they say, for example, the ra is a bayni letter, right? It should be farghab. But what do they do? When they're in their reading, in their celebrations or events, they have someone to read and people just sit and listen. So one of them, he will be saying what? وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. Farghab. Did you hear someone reading like this? Huh? Where did they get that from? Huh? From shaitan. That's from shaitan, just to entertain people. And this is what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, at the end of time, people will let someone يقدمونه, they will let someone to lead them in the prayer. ما يقدمونه إلا ليغنيهم or ليغنيهم. They offer him or they introduce him to come to lead salah just to entertain them with his voice. That's exactly what we see in many masajid, especially in Taraweeh, especially in some events. You find someone who doesn't know how to read correctly and they just get him. He has a nice voice, mashallah. Right? And those especially who are specialized in the musical melodies and they come and they apply it to the Quran, how awful it will be. Wallahi, when I pray behind some of those people, I didn't know them. I don't pray behind them because I cannot bear it. Not because salah is invalid, but because I cannot bear it. I cannot stand like when they're doing this. So we have to stick to the times of the letters and not apply the musical timings to the tajweed timings. Tajweed has its own timings. Okay?
So we don't say وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. So that it locks well. They say قفل. They say it locks well, like it ends well. It fits the melody. فَارْغَب, right? Astaghfirullah azim. How many ra he brought, right? No, give it its time. وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَب. That's it. This is just an example because they do this here in this word. Now, next half of the line, what does Imam Ibn al-Jazari say, rahimahullah? May Allah guide these people. Some of them, of course, not some of them, we give the benefit of doubt to all of them. They have good intention, but the good intention is not always enough, right? The good intention must be accompanied with good action. With an action that you don't ignore all the statements of the scholars of Quran and you say, no, that's fine. No, they like it, akhi, they like it. Come on, they like it. You care about them or you care about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the sheikhs who dedicated their lives to pass the Quran to us with its correct timings. Then you come and you put another timing to just entertain people. Astaghfirullah azim. Okay. So he said, وَبَيْنَ رِخْوٍ وَالشَّدِيدِ لِنْعُمَرٍ وَسَبْعُ عُلْوٍ خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ حَصَرٍ وَسَبْعُ عُلْوٍ خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ حَصَرٍ. Look at the picture, please. So that is what Imam Ibn al-Jazari is saying, rahimahullah, line 22. As you can see, وَبَيْنَ رِخْوٍ وَالشَّدِيدِ لِنْعُمَرٍ. Now he says, what, ya sister? وَسَبْعُ عُلْوٍ خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ حَصَرٍ. Let me take you again to the beginning of these lines. Imam Ibn al-Jazari started, rahimahullah, as we said. Look here, صِفَاتُهَا جَهْرٌ وَرِخْوٌ مُسْتَفِلٌ. Look here, صِفَاتُهَا, their صفات, the صفات of the letters, جَهْرٌ وَرِخْوٌ مُسْتَفِلٌ مُنْفَتِحٌ مُصْمَتَةٌ وَالضِّدَّ قُلْ. Right? So he said the صفات of the letters are جهر, رِخُ, رخاوة, مستفل, استفال, منفتح, انفتاح, مصمتة, إصمات. Then he said here what? وَالضِّدَّ قُلْ, and say the opposite. Means say the opposite of this صفات. Means we have 5 صفات and they have their opposites. The total is what? 10. We excluded مصمتة, إصمات and إذلاق because we said they're not related to tajweed. What's left? 8 صفات left. 8 صفات. Now, in the second line, what did he take? He took the opposite of jahr. Here, he did not tell us. He just said, say the opposite. Okay, ya Shaykh, what is the opposite of jahr? He told you here right away. Mahmusuha. He told you hams. And, okay, what are the letters of hams and jahr, ya Shaykh? He gave you right away. So, he gave you the opposite of the sifa along with the letters. So, he covered mahmusuha. Then he came to shadiduha, which is the opposite of rikhu. Now, between rikhu and shadid, he gave us lin umar. Now, what should he give us here, guys? Look here at the line. He gave us jahr and its opposite, rakhawa and its opposite and its letters. Now he says mustafil. That is istifal. Mustafil is the adjective. Istifal is the noun. What should he give us now? The opposite of what? Istifal. Here you go. The opposite of istifal is here. Is ulwin. He said ulwin from Isti'laa. So he said وَسَبْعُ ulwin خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ حَصَرٍ. This is genius. This is a smart person. Not any person can do this. وَسَبْعُ عُلْوٍ خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ حَصَرٍ. That's the line now we're talking about. Got it? So now the next صفة is what? Al-Isti'laa. Sab'u means what? Sab'u. Sab'u means what? 7. Right? Sab'u means what? 7. Sab'u. Ulwin. Sab'u ulwin. Ulwin means high. So these letters, the Isti'laa letters. The Isti'laa letters, as we will see now, because the sound goes up to the roof of the mouth. Got it? So Sab'u ulwin, 7 Isti'laa letters. Now, Khussa ضغط قر. Khussa ضغط قر. These 7 letters, always when you have new students or students who are learning with you, always every class, let them say these 7 letters with the alif.
so that they learn them. These are the heavy letters in Arabic, in addition to the lam and wa in some cases. Always let them say them, because most languages, they don't have these letters. So and these students, they don't read these letters at home. They don't use them in their daily language. So every class, just let them say those letters when they start and when they finish. Just make it as a habit, and you will see the benefit, inshallah, from this. Inshallah, you will see a great benefit. So always before they start, let them say kha, sa, ba, gha, ta, qa, va. That's it. And when they're done, also let them say kha, sa, ba, gha, ta, qa, va. And say also add the lam and ra. Say ra and Allah, ra and Allah. This way they learn all the heavy letters. There's no other heavy letters in Arabic, right? Okay. خص ضغط قر, we know this combination includes the 7 isti'laa letters. Hasar means what? Hasar means contained, or not excluded. Contained, in this context it means contained. Means what? Means this combination, خص ضغط قر, it contains all the isti'laa letters, okay? Or restricted. So this combination restricts the isti'laa letters, or includes or contains the isti'laa letters. Is that clear? Now does this combination have a meaning? Some scholars, they mentioned yes. Khussa, they said al-khuss it means a house of sugar cane. You know the sugar cane? The sugar cane, or another type of canes that are from inside, we see this a lot in Syria. From inside it's hollow, it has a vacuum. So they build some small like shelters or things with these yellow canes. So a house that's built of these canes, this is called khus, okay? Okay. So that's al-khus, okay? Khus. Daght means pressure or tightness, okay? خص ضغط. قذ is a command from qadha. Qadha means someone stayed in a hot place in the summer. So qidh means stay during the hot time or during the summer. So the meaning is that keep or stay in the hot place in a tight or a small house. So it means like be satisfied with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Okay? So خص ضغط قذ حصر. Yalla, let's come to the first sifa for today, which is al-Isti'laa. What is al-Isti'laa? Al-Isti'laa is the rising of the sound of the letter towards what? Towards the ballot or the roof of the mouth. Right? The ballot is what? What is the ballot? What is the ballot? It's the roof of the mouth, right? And in the ballot, what do we have? How many parts? We have the front part of the palate, then we have the hard, bony palate, then we have the soft, fleshy palate, right? And then we have what? The uvula. Every one of these parts, we learn the letters that are produced at that part, right? So, Isti'laa is the rising of the sound of the letter towards the palate or the roof of the mouth due to the elevation of the back part of the tongue and the tongue being curved. That is Isti'laa. That's how you make a letter heavy. So it's not enough to say raise the back part of your tongue to make a letter heavy. What should you say? Raise the back part of your tongue and make your tongue curved. Because in the wow, when you say ooh, the back part of the tongue is raised when you say ooh. But is the ooh heavy? No. Why? Because the tongue is not curved. Right? When you say ooh, that's how the tongue is. The back part is raised. Ooh. But it's not heavy. Because the tongue is not curved. And since it's not curved, the sound will not go up to the roof of the mouth and will not reflect, making that echo or heaviness. It will just go out. If you say oh,
See, that's heavy. I'm making my tongue curve. So we can add this here. Is the rising of the sound of a letter towards the palate or the roof of the mouth. We can add that rising, or we can say then the sound, or that will make the sound, that will make the sound reflect back, making the echo or the heaviness of the letter. Does that make sense? Clear? Clear? Look at the picture. Look at the picture, please, here. See the qaf? Where is the sound going? To the roof, to the palate. If it is not curved from here, what would have happened? It will just go out, just like the calf here. Look. Also the back part this is a nice example here. The calf, the back part is completely up and touching the soft and hard palate, right, yeah, sister? Even though the back part of the tongue is up, but the tongue is not curved, so it will not go up and it will not make any echo or heaviness. Is that clear? So this is Isti'laa or Istifal. This is the opposite of Isti'laa. What is it? Istifal. Musta'lin, mustafil. صفاتها جهر ورخم مستفل. Opposite of mustafil, musta'lin. Istifal, and its opposite is what? Isti'laa. Is it clear? I like this picture. Most likely I'll ask you about it. I'll bring you this picture. Tell me what sifa is this and what letter is this. It's very easy. This is the only letter that you touch the soft palate this way, right? With the back part. The ghain and kha you touch with the root of the tongue, not the back part. And so this is a qaf, and you have to tell me this is a qaf and this sifa is isti'laa, right? Okay. So the sound goes up here and reflects, making the echo or the heaviness. That's the qaf. The kaf, the sound is not going up. Why the sound is not going up, ya Shaykh Isa, here? Why it's not going up? Why is going right out?
The middle part.
Because the tongue is not curved from here, right? So the sound just goes out. Clear? Clear. Istifal is what? Is the opposite. Al-istifal means lowering. Isti'laa means what? Rising. Isti'laa means rising. Literally, isti'laa, when you use in Arabic this Hamzat wasl sin ta, Hamzat wasl sin ta, it means what? Asking for something. Example. Learn this in Arabic morphology. Whenever you have this, what do they call it? Prefix? Prefix, right? Whenever you have this prefix, Hamzat wasl sin ta, it means what? Seeking something or asking for something. Example. Example, ya sister. When you say istighfar, means what? Talabul maghfirah, asking for forgiveness. When you say istighfar, means what? Seeking or asking for forgiveness. When you say istib'ad, means asking for bu'd, asking someone to go away or to be out. Istiqdam means asking to get someone. Okay? Istibshar, asking for bushra, for glad tidings. Okay? Istinsar, yalla, who can tell me istinsar? You should know it. Asking for? What's the word? What's the word in Arabic? Nasr. See? Istinsar, asking for nasr, for victory. What's the ayah? That's in Tansuru. وَإِنِ اسْتَنصَرُوكُمْ, right? What's the ayah? وَإِنِ اسْتَنصَرُوكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ فَعَلَيْكُمُ النَّصْرُ. وَإِنِ اسْتَنصَرُوكُمْ, istansara. Istansara means what? He asked for support and help, right? And nasr, victory. What about istighfar? Istighfar, asking for maghfirah, forgiveness. Istaghfara, he sought forgiveness. He asked for forgiveness. Did you get it? When you learn morphology, inshallah,
We're gonna resume the Arabic course soon. So when you learn morphology, you will learn so many words just by learning the rule or the scale or the mizan. Okay. So Isti'laa means what? Talabul ulu, asking for highness. Okay, so these letters are letters of Isti'laa because you make them heavy, you make them up, you make them high, the sound goes up. Istifal, talabul sufl, إذ جاءوكم من فوقكم ومن أسفل. Istifal, sufl. Okay, so Istifal because the sound goes sufl, goes down. So Istifal, Isti'laa is rising and Istifal is lowering. Istifal is the opposite of Isti'laa, so the sound doesn't go towards the roof of the mouth, it rather goes down right away to the outside of the mouth. All letters are mustafila except for the musta'liya letters. So what are the Isti'laa, what are the Istifal letters? What are the Istifal letters? All letters besides what? Khussada al-Tinqib. Got it? And this is an example of the mustafil letter. The kaf, as you can see, the sound is going down because the tongue is not curved. And now the rule to finish with, because we have to take al-kharida, we did not take for 2 classes. So we can finish this sifa here. The result of Isti'laa is what, ya shabab? What's the result of Isti'laa? Tafkhim. And the result of Istifal is Tarqiq. More details on this will come in the coming verses of Al-Jazariya, inshallah. Because Imam Ibn Jazari in the coming sections, he will tell you, فَرَقِّقًا مُسْتَفِلًا مِنْ أَحْرُفِ. He will say what? فَرَقِّقًا مُسْتَفِلًا مِنْ أَحْرُفِ وحاذرا تفخيم لفظ الألف في همز الحمد أعوذ اهدنا. So في لفظ الحمد. So وهمز الحمد وحاذرا تفخيم لفظ الألف وهمز الحمد أعوذ اهدنا الله ثم لام لله لنا. So he will come to that. He's telling us make the mustafil letters, make them muraqqaq. So this means the Isti'laa letters must be always what? Heavy, right? Now some of those Isti'laa letters are heavier than some others. That's what we will know next class, inshallah. But before that, we said all Isti'laa letters are heavy, guys. Focus with me this last point. And this is the type of questions I'm going to ask you. All Isti'laa letters are heavy. But does that mean all of the heavy letters are Isti'laa letters? Why not? Because we have the alif and the lam and the ra. Those are 3 letters. Are they Isti'laa or Istifal? Istifal. They're not part of Khussada al-Tinqib. Yet, sometimes we make them heavy. Did you get it? So, you cannot say all of the muraqqaq letters, you cannot say all of the heavy letters are Isti'laa letters. Why? Because we have some heavy letters which are not Isti'laa. They are Istifal letters and we make them sometimes heavy. Got it? When do we make them heavy? We already explained. When you make the lam heavy and you make the ra heavy and you make the alif heavy. So, we stop here. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. So this was